We're going to move on to our next speaker, Dr. Huda Zoghbi, who is a professor in the Department of Pediatrics, Molecular and Human Genetics, Neurology and Neuroscience at Baylor College of Medicine. She's also an investigator at the Howard Hughes Medical Institute and the founding director of the Jan and Dan Duncan Neurological Research Institute at Texas Children's Hospital. She is an award-winning pioneering neurologist with significant contributions to the field of neurogenetics. She is here today to discuss why this initiative is vital to Texas neuroscience leadership. Thank you.
Thank you, Rola. And I'm really honored to be joining this wonderful panel. And hopefully together we can really build a brain health research initiative in Texas that's transformative. What I thought I'll do in the next 5 minutes is share with you the challenges that we face regarding brain health and the opportunities that really make Texas the ideal place to solve some of these challenges. So just to start, it's important to recognize the number of diseases that affect the brain in Texas only. We are 30 million people, but if you combine neurological, traumatic, and substance use disorders, as well as psychiatric disorders, 18.7 million of our population might suffer one of those during its lifetime. So it's really a pressing need. And more importantly, to just maybe take one of those diseases, Alzheimer's disease, there are 5 million Americans, but about 10% of them are in Texas. If you look at this map, you will notice that the density of Alzheimer's disease in Texas way outweighs other regions of the country. This is why we need to understand why. We need the research to figure out why is the rate of Alzheimer's disease so high here? What can we do about it? Regarding mental health issues, I just want to show you this really chilling slide that's about data for admissions to the emergency room by young youth, by children and adolescents under 18 who come to the emergency room at Texas Children's Hospital, affiliated hospitals. So these are different campuses, but this is all of them combined. And you'll see up to about January 2020, it used to be somewhere between 20 to 50 visits a month. Fast forward to today, it increased during the pandemic, and it's now at 454, and the numbers have not been going down. We need to understand that. We need to understand what changes in the environment can affect the mental health of our youth, because when it's environmental, we can study it, we can develop intervention, as we just heard from Mr. Jim Hackett. So with those challenges, why are we positioned to really solve many of these problems? Texas scientists are truly leaders in identifying the causes of brain disorders and setting the stage to find new treatments. And I'm going to share some examples for you that I want you to hopefully leave this webinar realizing these are strengths in Texas. I'm not saying these are strengths everywhere around the country. There are some things unique to us, and we should capitalize on them. One of those is solving the unsolvable brain diseases. Typically, many children may have autism, may have intellectual disability, may have an unsolved disorders. They come to us, we study their DNA. As you heard, this is the #1 genetics program in the country. We should celebrate that. Today is DNA Day, by the way. And through artificial intelligence, collaboration throughout the medical center, we can narrow down the sequence abnormality to a handful. But that's where the rest of the country gets stuck. All of us have changes in our DNA. If you only have 2 to 3, you don't know which one causes the disease. What we have here, we are the leaders in the world on using fruit flies to solve human brain disorders. We know how to engineer them. We know how to put human variations in them to determine which of all the variations our DNA are bad. They cause disease. And this is why the NIH designated us here at Texas Children and Baylor as the model organism screening center for the whole country. We're helping people at all hospitals around the country solve these diseases. This is a gem. We have that in Texas. And then that would lead us to understanding pathway to develop therapies. Using that now, we're moving into new directions through a collaboration between, as you'll see below, many medical center institutions. We want to tackle Alzheimer's disease. Everybody assume all Alzheimer patients are the same. They're not. They're very heterogeneous. We need to define the different types of Alzheimer so that clinical trials will be much better, so that you don't see as little benefit from clinical interventions as you're seeing now. This is one example where this technology, going from human through computation, through genetics, all the way using fruit flies to solve unsolvable problems. And a new initiative also unique to Texas, and that's why it's called the Texome Project, is one that specifically addresses disparities in genomic medicine. You may not recognize this, but people who are on Medicaid or people who do not have insurance don't have the same privileges to have their DNA sequenced and studied in depth like people who have private insurance. And we discovered this here and developed a program that's partially NIH funded, partially Texas Children's Hospital funded. So we address these disparities in genomic medicine so that we provide these services to all the underserved in the city of Houston. We're solving medical mystery for minority and underserved patients. Just in the first 6 months of the inception, this is a new program, we've solved 20 diseases that were unsolved in those populations. And this is in collaboration with Harris Health and Children's Hospital of San Antonio. Again, using really our secret recipe here. That's been great. I want to move now to other innovative therapies. You know, there's a revolution in medicine. We're finding the genetic lesions and causes for so many diseases, but we need to treat them. And some treatment will involve replacing the gene. And this is through a collaboration with Rice University. You can use focused ultrasound, which is uninvasive, just gently opens the brain barrier so that gene therapy would reach the brain. Just want to show you that really, when we're talking gene discovery, you really can lead to a trial. We have a great ongoing clinical trial treating one of those diseases now, and the next one that's happening pretty soon. So these will translate into therapies, and we can multiply that. A different kind of therapy that, again, will combine neuroengineers and neuroscientists and clinicians is understanding the brain network. And just as Google Maps will reroute you when there is traffic, if you understand the network and there is a lesion, you can stimulate a different part of the brain and make the patient better. And this was recently shown for severe depression and obsessive compulsive disorder by Dr. Samir Sheth, who just got published and got the cover of Biological Psychiatry. See, this is not any more science fiction. We can really modulate a brain network to help a person who's suffering a devastating disease. And the last thing I want to share with you is another use of focal ultrasound, which is high intensity, where you can fix a brain lesion without surgery. I just want you to see this video. This gentleman has severe tremor that keeps him from working well, can't really hold a cup. Without any surgery, just through focused ultrasound, now you can see his hand is steady. These are the kind of things we can do and really help people. And this is the innovation that you're seeing here in Texas. So I hope this convinced you that the time is really now to transform brain health research. And this is why House Bill 15 is so critical. Thank you.